Hey, how it's going, guys? In this video, we're going to look at graph engineering. So, graph engineering is the newly, hyped terminology in the agentic AI ecosystem. I mean, Peter Steinberg, the guy who created OpenClaw, who has joined OpenAI lately, has been talking about different agent system engineering, or if we call it agentic system engineering principles, rather. He started with loop engineering, now he's talking about graph engineering. And there have been a lot of other guys at Google and different organizations who have been talking about different agent, system engineering principles, including, context engineering, like Andre Karpathy talked about it. Then we talked about harness, loop, and now graph engineering. Now the time has arrived. We're gonna do graph engineering through an MD file. That's a different story anyway. But if you look at graph engineering on a very high level, of course, we're gonna talk about how do we can apply the principles of graph engineering. If we're building AI agents, I have a demo that I can show you through LangGraph. But before that, if you see end to end, what do we really mean by graph? So if you look at here, it's the first one. Is it even a tweet? Nowadays everything is happening through tweet. So the influencers or the evangelist, I'll use the word evangelism, evangelist is a better word, they have been going on Twitter and been talking about a lot of new terminologies, and that's where we saw graph engineering. So Peter talked about it in I think last month about it. And then we saw the evolution from prompt to graph. So we first used to talk about prompt engineering, then we moved to context. In the context engineering, what happened, you give different information, different relevant information to your agent, so agent can perform the task with more a better accuracy. And of course, and then we saw harness. Now how do we make sure that agents run? So how to run? So harness is basically the safety layer. And then we saw the loop, how to respond, when to stop, right? So on and so forth. And now we've been talking about graph. How do we bring everything together? How do we connect? So graph can basically have loops inside it. So if you look at the third one, this image, it says a loop is one loop that agent kind of goes through in a workflow, right? But graph can have bundle of loops, okay? And graph can contain loops, okay? So that's something that we have to see. Not a DAG you never return from. So DAG is directed acyclic graph. That's what DAG means, right? Mostly the LangGraph based agents if you are building. So that's something very important. And that's why graph engineering is important if you are building agentic AI system today. Now, if you look at the fourth one, three components and two layers, right? We talked about your node. Node is basically a Python function. If you talk about, like, let's say LangGraph, you define Python function that can become a node in LangGraph, right? So your node will have, like, it's an LLM, you have your text execution, you have human review. LLM only is not enough. That's what we know, right? Then we have ages, which decides the next thing. Like, it can be fixed, it can be conditional. You have shared state that can act as a memory, of course. No loss, no duplications. And here we're talking about the LangGraph based agents. In this particular diagram, the organizational graph, which is going to be stable with your roles and responsibilities, and then the work graph, which is dynamic, like what to do. So these are the components and different layers. Now, if you work with AI agents, there are different design patterns or orchestration patterns. You have sequential. So let's say if you work with crew AI based agents, they are mostly sequential. They work in a sequence manner. Let's say a research agent workflow, a social media research agent. It will go on social media, fetch the news, give it to a draft agent, and then give it to a validator agent. But the output of the one agent becomes the input for the next agent. So it runs in sequence. And then we have fan out. You can look at where can it break this design patterns we talk about. Final result takes too long in sequential because it has to depend of the previous outputs. So in a multi-agent workflow, it might take a lot of time. Now fan out, which is of course a very dangerous way of dealing with agents. Like, failure of one branch can stop everything. So fan out is one of the disastrous agent patterns, to be honest. Then we have parallel. Same input causes inconsistent outputs. So the parallel design pattern. Then we have supervisor based. Like, if you work with AutoGen, they are mostly like, supervisor based. Tool uses without limits, loops without memories, and shape keeps changing. So that something is there. Generate and score, which is mostly like when you use LLM as judge, as evals. So that is something that you also look at. If you don't have enough validation data or test data, it might fail. Okay, so that is something there. The number seven is four stop conditions. No progress, oscillations, token budget exceeds, cost exceeded, so on and so forth. So, at at most five loops, avoid endless oscillations. So that is very interesting. We'll talk about it. And number seven is healthy common sense. You can see, rules to follow. We'll have all of these things: real input, real traffic, real human reviews. So that is there. And then there are some numbers which shows based on this has come from different, bunch of architectures across, six benchmarks that how number have, you can see, dropped. Same, some improved this much, some dropped this much. Even a 45% unit often isn't useful enough. So value is not in the number of boxes, which is a very interesting point. Okay, so we're going to talk about the graph engineering through LangGraph. Okay, this is an image that I wanted to show you. Now, why this is important for us to understand. Uh, if you draw it, like if you look at the design, okay, we talk about LangGraph-based graphs. Okay, explicit graphs, by the way. The number is parallel. First, it's parallel execution. Okay, I mean, it depends on the earlier it was depending on the model's mode, the LLMs, but now it's, it depends on these processes that run simultaneously. State management, like which node can see what, right? So node is basically a Python function that talked about mostly religious tools and whatnot. Now earlier they were all in the same context. Now the veto power, which node can block others, that's very, very important. Earlier no one could stop it because you probably will not have a stop gate to kind of stop it. The budget, which is very important, you have to look at the optimization. How much will you be spent and where? I found out after the race through the bill. That's what used to happen earlier. So what I did, if you look at here, I have this repo. Of course, this will be available on my GitHub repository, and I'll give the link in video's description. It's called Graph Engineering Crash Course. Now here, a very simple use case. We have a support desk graph. It's an, let's say, an e-commerce support inbox. That's the use case. A ticket comes in, you know, the system classifies it. The system is built by AI, let's say, and the system classifies the ticket, looks of hard facts, drafts a reply, critiques its own draft, in a loop, and then either sends it or hands it to a human agent. That's how, you basically should design it. Now, every piece maps to one idea from the graph engineering diagram that I was showing you. That nodes are of three kinds: LLM nodes, deterministic code nodes, human gate. See, node is a Python function, so it can be either without LLMs or with LLMs. It does not has to be always LLM based nodes. Okay, and the human gate, which is important, will show you. Now, ages are fixed or conditional, so they will classify, review, use conditional ages, shared state for the memory, generate and score pattern, draft, review, loop. So this is how a doc string you can go and read it. Now I have a tickets.py file where I have dummy tickets. Now these tickets will come in from your databases. The database that will use for collecting the tickets from your e-commerce sites or from your wherever you are selling it, right? Now if you look at this support graph.py, by the way, I'm using open router. Okay, I'm using GPT-4o mini just to save some money on the token cost. Now, the knob, the whole demo turns on, which is important. If you look at here, the max revisions, the quality bar, the cost ceiling USD, like the money, the budget should not run out. Auto approve limit, refunds above this never go without a human. Okay, like let's say $50, right? These are my stop rules, like these are my stop gates or stop rule or stop patterns, whatever you call it. Okay, they are basically used in through a loop, right? Uh, I have a function to use the LLM, you can see right over here. Now this is the shared state. So if you have ever worked with LangGraph, you'll understand what we mean by shared state. They're always type dictionary, okay, used as a temporary memory kind of a thing. Okay, so I'll just skip this for now. Okay, you have some functions spent to look at how much you've been spending. Now the node comes up. You can look at the nodes for classifications, refund, order status, general, some descriptions, order ID takes up. Okay, like this, define, classify, blah blah blah. It classifies it. You can see, look up the order in your like invent database or wherever. You can see this is a deterministic node, so we are not using any LLM for this. No creativity, just the database that we are using. We have a policy check. Okay, in this policy check that you see, uh, we have this information, deterministic nodes, business rules lives in this code, not in a prompt. By the way, it should always have a business rules lives in your code. You should define policies that can be enforced as a code. So policy as a code, just like OPA or Rego rules. If you read about it, that's very interesting. And if you keep going, this You can go through it. I have a response through some prompt, you can see, right? Some claim phrases, some required lines, and then I have deterministic verifier, okay, which is important. I'll want to show you this diagram. Okay, your earlier I was having an LLM to score an LLM. No, if you're working with agentic system engineering principles like, let's say, loop or graph engineering, you should have evaluations must be an external deterministic verifier. Like, it should not be an LLM scoring an LLM. The evaluation should be done by an external deterministic system. That's important. And machine approval is not same as human approval. That's what I'm saying. The stop region that you see versus human gate decision. Stop region is your machine and human gate is by human. So we separate machine stop region from human gate decision, which is very, very important. Okay, so these two are important for you to understand. Hard stop, not optimism. So we have these four stop conditions: max revisions, score not improving, the time limit, and hard stop. That's what we have. This diagram is very important for you to understand. So let me just go back and show you here some review. That's just okay. Some check stop conditions, some human gate. You can see the human gate thing. And then we have ages. The conditional ones are where the graph earns its name. Okay, you can see root after classify, root after review. And here we are building the organizational graph. Okay, this you build graph, like you add the nodes, you add the ages, you add some conditional ages, and then you compile the graph if you're working with LangGraph. And I have some Mohammed diagram to show it. Now, if you look at here, this is how I ran. So this is how you run it. So Python run.py hyphen hyphen all. This is my ticket, first ticket, ticket 01 from Priya. She says, hi, I ordered a hoodie last week, order number this, and the size is way off. It arrived 5 days ago and I haven't worn it. Can I get a refund? So Priya wants to get a refund for her order, which arrived 5 days ago, but she has not worn it, and size is big, like, let's say. Okay. So this what happens is, you can look at this. It has root. So first is the root part in the LangGraph. The classification. So classification is to look up the order. So it calls up the lookup order, policy check, and draft, ground check, review, human gate. That's the entire workflow end to end. Category is refund, policy is eligible. Okay, so it looks at the category. If you can go through tickets.py, you'll understand. You can look at all this thing you have defined in your policies. That's what we have. uh, and then the loop is one draft score stopped on quality bar met. That's important. Verifier passed, deterministic no model, cost is this much, decision is automatically send it, so you auto send it. So the reply is auto sent. Hi Priya, thank you for reaching out. I understand the size of the cotton hoodie, blah blah blah. 5 days ago, you are eligible for a refund. Right. Please return the hoodie within 30 days return window, and once we receive it, we'll process your refund of $29. This is how it works. If you look at the 02, it's sent for the human review because the ticket comes from Marcus. This is the order number. These headphones stopped charging. I bought them 2 months ago and I paid $180 for them. Remember, the amount was only $50. Okay, if it goes more than $50, it will stopped on max loops, policy outside window. You can see for this particular example, auto approve limit. You can see refund $180 over auto approve limit, policy verdict, outside window needs judgment, loop ended on max loop, not on quality. That's on your human review. So it goes to the human, right? That's how you build. It's a very good use case, when it comes to triaging your tickets, or if you are building if you're working in the ticketing resolution system with the agentic, like agentic AI, or you're building AI agents for ticket resolution. You have to bring these kind of loops and graphs to control, okay, and make sure that your agents are performing the way they should perform and not kind of going and making decisions on their own, right? Now, you can look at all of the ticket 3 is also automatically sent. Ticket 4 is failed from Diago. Okay, failed verification, unsourced policy claim. We do see very interesting. You read about that Air Canada. If you come here and search, this is very interesting. Air Canada AI chatbot failure case study. You know, uh, you can look at here what Air Canada lost in a remarkable lying AI chatbot case. In the policy, when the Air Canada built 2 years back the chatbot, in the policy it was there that they will get a discount or something or some cash back. But once the flyer use that like tickets to get go and get the refund later or cash back later. The policy was changed, okay, but it was not updated in the vector database, kind of a thing. So, those kind of things makes blunders. So you should go and read that. So that's what I'm saying, that is there. So this is an example of how you can bring graph, and if you're working with LangGraph, it is state machine, guys, by the way. I mean, let's be very you know clear about this agentic system engineering principle, that it's not a new thing. People who have been doing software engineering, they have been using this thing for so many years. It's just now they got hyped up nowadays because of the AI ecosystem, because AI engineers were never software engineers, so they didn't know about this thing, that how do you work on the back end to build better systems. AI engineers' job were to use with machine learning or data science you know, based things earlier, but now we have to do everything as such. Now, if you look at here, the same thing from ticket 1 to T4. Okay, and of course, this is available as an artifact. It will be available on my GitHub repo. You can just run it. It's an HTML file. Like, when do you need a human gate? When do you need stop or escalated, and so on and so forth. Right. So that's why it's important for you to understand every loop watches another loop. Okay, and no loop touches the ground. This is important for you to understand. Okay, when you should not build a graph at all, that is something also you should read it. But I want you to go through kind of all this you know important understanding of when do you need and how do you build this graph principles in your agent workflows if you're working with one. So keep this in mind, which is very, very important. Okay, so this is the mother diagram of all. Like, you need this to kind of go through and work with, right? So this is what I was saying about graph engineering. This all is available on my GitHub repo. But before you go this, I want you to first go through these two videos. One is on loop engineering and the other is on harness engineering. You have to understand loop and harness before you go into the graph engineering, because until you understand these two, you might not understand the graph engineering, because graph engineering sits on the higher in the hierarchy now. So that's what it is. Okay, this entire code repo is available on my GitHub. Go to the video description, get the link, and just go and run it. If you have any question, thoughts, or feedback about graph engineering, let me know in the comment box. You can also reach out to me through my social media channel. Find those channel information on channel banner and channel about us. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.